joining us on ERi-TV English news broadcast, dear viewers, and do stay tuned for our local and international news for today, Monday, the 9th of December 2024. I'm Heaven Johans, your news anchor for this session, inviting you to stay tuned with us. Let's begin with the major headlines. His Holiness Abuna Basilios elected as 6th Patriarch of the Orthodox Tewahedo Church. Eritrea participates in economic, social and cultural rights workshop. Russian gas giant posts record for China exports. And US announces nearly $1 billion USD in longer-term weapons aid to Ukraine. In our domestic news, His Reverend Abuna Basilios, administrator of the office of the Patriarch of the Eritrean Orthodox Tewahedo Church, has been elected as the 6th Patriarch of the Eritrean Orthodox Tewahedo Church. The election was conducted today at the headquarters of the Eritrean Orthodox Tewahedo Church in accordance with the norms and regulations of the Holy Synod and the Church. The electoral process was attended by members of the Holy Synod, representatives of monasteries, the Scholars' Council, as well as representatives from theological colleges and dioceses both within the country and abroad. The official consecration ceremony of Abuna Basilios is scheduled to take place on 26 January 2025. On another news, an Eritrean delegation participated in the Economic, Social and Cultural Rights Workshop held in Hangzhou, China from 2 to 9 December 2024. During the workshop, Mr. Tom Zerai, chargé d'affaires at the Eritrean Embassy and the Permanent Mission of Eritrea to the United Nations, and Mr. Nathanael Ya'bio from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs presented papers titled Challenges and Solutions, Promoting and Protecting Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, as well as International Cooperation on Human Rights, respectively, reflecting Eritrea's stance and position. In their presentations, the speakers emphasized that economic, social and cultural rights are not abstract concepts in Eritrea, but living commitments. They highlighted how these rights are encapsulated in Eritrea's national development philosophy, which prioritizes achieving social justice and are deeply embedded in the national charter, national policies, laws and proclamations. A meeting focused on the assessment and research of natural and cultural resources, as well as marine and land infrastructure in parts of the Dahlak Islands, was held in the port city of Massawa. The meeting was organized in collaboration with the Cultural and Sports Department of the Northern Red Sea region and the Ministries of Marine Resources and Tourism. The meeting aimed to identify, explore and conduct follow-up actions to preserve natural and cultural resources, historical sites, heritage and the state of birds, fish and marine flora in the eastern and northern parts of the Dahlak Islands. Mr. Johannes Ghebreyesus, head of culture in the region, stated that the meeting was a continuation of a program initiated in 2019, during which numerous ancient and historical sites and remnants were identified and properly documented. According to Mr. Johannes, ancient tombs, mosques, harbors, lighthouses, barks from the Italian colonial era, a 17-meter-long sunken ship, and buildings on the islands of Harmil, Romoya, Qadu, Esratu, Difnin, Harat, Dihil, Sagla, Farach, Salma, Aukan, Megadeh, and Bulhusar have been documented. Mr. Filmon Tawalde, a member of the research branch at the Ministry of Marine Resources, noted that alongside the integrated efforts on natural and cultural resources, research has also been conducted on birds, fish, marine flowers and sea turtles. The National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students Branch of Higher Education Institutions and SAWA held a meeting to assess activities conducted in 2024 and plan for 2025. Ms. Mansoura Ismail, head of the Union Branch, emphasized the importance of coordinated efforts with partners to finalize unfinished programs from 2024 and urged regional and college heads to ensure strong follow-ups. Highlighting the success of the 11th Festival of Higher Education Institutions, Ms. Mansoura called for collective efforts to ensure success of the 2025 festival. Reports were presented at the meeting by Warsai Kaalo School in Sawa and all colleges. Ms. Helen Amina, head of regional follow-up at the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students, on her part, urged stakeholders to integrate efforts to address the challenge observed in 2024. Additionally, the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students in the Central region provided administration and leadership training to 126 youth representatives from various administrative areas in the region. This wraps up our domestic news for this session, dear viewers. We'll be back with the international ones after the short break. Welcome back. Russian energy major Gazprom set a new daily record on December 7 for gas deliveries to China via the Power of Siberia pipeline. The company announced it on Sunday. Gazprom exceeded planned export volume at the request of the Chinese, the company added. It's the 8th time Gazprom has surpassed its daily supply record since the beginning of the year. Russia agreed to provide 38 billion cubic meters of gas annually to China via the Power of Siberia pipeline from 2025 under a bilateral long-term contract. Gazprom said it expects that by the end of 2024, its gas deliveries to China will exceed annual contractual obligations, pushing supplies via the pipeline to their maximum volume of 38 billion cubic meters, month ahead of schedule. China currently gets most of its Russian gas through the Mega Pipeline, a section of the so-called Eastern Route, which was partially launched in December 2019, becoming the first pipeline to supply Russian gas to China. The Eastern Route includes the 3,000-kilometer-long Power of Siberia pipeline in Russia and a section in China that extends to a total of 5,111 kilometers. Russia rerouted its energy exports to Asia after it lost its buyers from EU countries in 2022 due to the escalation of the Ukraine conflict and Western sanctions. On our last news. The U.S. Department of Defense announced it on Saturday that it will provide weapons worth $988 million to Ukraine over a relatively longer term to enhance its military capabilities in the conflict with Russia. According to a statement, the additional military assistance to be provided through the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative involves ammunition for the HIMARS unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as equipment, components and spare parts to maintain, repair and overhaul artillery systems, tanks and armored vehicles. This is the Joe Biden administration's 22nd Security Assistance Initiative package for Ukraine, the statement added. Unlike weapons provided through the presidential drone-down authorities that are pulled down directly from shelves in the Pentagon's warehouse, weapons in a Security Assistance Initiative package are usually procured through contracts signed by the U.S. government with domestic manufacturers, often resulting in longer delivery times. With this, we conclude our news for this session, dear viewers. Time for a quick recap of the major headlines. His Holiness Abuna Basilios elected as 6th Patriarch of the Orthodox Tewahedo Church. Eritrea participates in economic, social and cultural rights workshop. Russian gas giant posts record for China exports. And U.S. announces nearly $1 billion in longer-term weapons aid to Ukraine. This was The World on Monday with ERi-TV English news broadcast. Dear viewers, thank you for joining. It's officially goodbye from us.